Dr. Ramya Devedi from the Department of Psychology welcome you all to this week-long celebration of mental health campaign organized by IILM University in collaboration with District Administration, Gurugram, Haryana. As we all know, that today's topic would focus on the uncertainties in terms of opportunities by becoming from being to becoming. Since the beginning of 2020, we have all experienced a number of uncertainties and challenges around us. These uncertainties have come in the form of practicing social distancing, using the virtual mode, and operating things through virtual modes, and also a lot of mask wearing and sanitization. So today's topic will be an attempt to understand if we can rise above all these challenges and above all these uncertainties and convert these uncertainties into opportunities. With this, I would like to introduce and invite our speaker for today, Dr. Megha Pushkarna ma'am, who is an associate professor with the Department of Psychology, IILM University, and is a counseling psychologist for the past 10 years practicing in Delhi. She is a gold medalist in sociology from Delhi University and pursued her master's from Amity University, Noida, in psychology. She went on to do her PhD degree from IGNOU, New Delhi. She is also a licensed hypnotherapist and a regression therapist from California Hypnosis Institute. I welcome you, ma'am, and you can take your discussion forward with this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. Good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Megha Pushkarna. As Dr. Ramya said, I'm an associate professor at the Department of Psychology, as well as a counseling psychologist. My experience of counseling has taken me to schools, corporates, as well as hospitals. I've worked with depression. I've worked with self-esteem, and I personally feel cognitive behavior therapy is a very eclectic approach, which kind of combines a lot of best, actually speaking, best of all the technicalities of counseling. And that's what I aspire to do when I, move forward in my practice, to make world probably a better place, to reach out as much as we can, and maybe to accept, with our WHO 2020 theme of mental health, and which has been taken forward like as a dream by IILM, to talk about mental health awareness with Swasth Man, Swasth Samaj. We talk about how important it is to talk, how okay it is to fall down but still rise, how important it is to reach out. So as much as we talk about each one caring for one, it is so important to discuss about things which we all are looking, facing at the moment. We were never ready for something like a pandemic, but here we are all discussing about it. Any newspaper you may pick up, any discussion you may have, at a personal level, I tell myself I don't want to talk about pandemic and the repercussions, and I fall myself in every discussion talking about how me, my family, my students, people around me are facing uncertainty. We don't know how long we have to wait for the vaccine. We don't know how long this will take. We don't know if it's going to end. But what do we do that we are in a situation when everything literally looks uncertain? I feel being to becoming is something where I felt was the need to talk about how we can stop being in the zone of I can't do anything, how we can stop, waiting for someone to pick us up, and how do we start becoming the best potential that I have and probably make ourselves more at peace. So without further delay, I will introduce my topic to you. I'll be screen sharing just in a minute at the lights. Thankfully, I have a lot of students whom I have taught, and they are a part of this webinar. So I would take a little opportunity to pick one or two of my own students and maybe kind of ask them a little bit of questions here or there and kind of make it an interactive session. You're most welcome to ask questions, which Dr. Ramya would be able to, will be able to manage by the end of the session, and the likes. Yes. So without further delay, that's the session for today, and that's my. I hope Rama ma'am, this is easy to see. I will just
yes, it's visible. You can just put it on the full screen mode.
I will do that. Yeah. Thank you. So my topic of today is being to becoming. I wanted to make it a little more interesting, a little chirpy, like the way, and a little amusing, so that we can talk of something which is so important, of how we're looking at the uncertainty. What are we doing, of challenging the situation of uncertainty, how we're actually looking at working towards it to somewhere find peace. Problem हमारे साथ क्या है? The human essence is that we were never taught what we're supposed to do in isolation. We have always been told to be in a group. हमें हमेशा कहा गया है आपने ग्रुप में रहना है, you have to get along with others. अगर किसी का मूड ठीक नहीं है तो उनके साथ आप ठीक से रहो. How we interact, how we communicate is something that was a social scenario for us. And today, as people, as social beings, we've been left absolutely alone to manage something as big as pandemic or as small as a home isolation. तो हम कैसे manage कर रहे हैं? What are we doing about it? Is my discussion for today and the session. So my topic is being to becoming. Is uncertainty another opportunity? With the help of cognitive behavior training, which is my modality of counseling, I'll be discussing simpler yet very effective ways of how we go about doing things. So moving further ahead, or before I could start, I have, again, like I said, a lot of my own students here. So Ria, are you here? Can I discuss with you something? Ria Mahajan, are you a part of the group? Ma'am, can Ria be unmuted so she can talk to me? Ramya ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. I'm just checking for it. I'll just unmute.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Ria. How are you?
I'm good.
So nice. So nice to have you in my session. So Ria, tell me something. What has been the most uncertain part of 2020 for you? We've had full 1 year, literally. We are at the fag end of 2020. What part of 2020 has been the most uncertain for you and in your life, in specific for you as a person? Okay. All right. So while I get her back, these are the things that I'm going to be doing in my session today. And how I start is when everything is uncertain, when everything is in doubt, when you don't know where you're going, everything clearly that is important becomes the most, it becomes the clearest. What I'm trying to say is we have fogged ourselves up with so much of stimulus that at times a lot of uncertain situations come to bring us doubt and worry. However, when everything is uncertain and everything is fogged up, the most important things tend to become the clearest. So I'm going to be discussing things like, is it or is it not? What is uncertainty and what is worry behavior? Why worrying is okay? Why being anxious is okay? Why it should not be put in the table of negativity? Worry is your own way of survival. So it's all right. However, what is uncertainty and what is not uncertainty? What is defining anxiety and what is not defining anxiety? How we can think beyond? How can we look beyond? How do we analyze what is an opportunity and how am I looking at exploring it? I'm looking at how can I step ahead and move forward in terms of my own self analysis. If I'm talking about any bit of moving from being to becoming, I'm using the biggest tool that you have today and that has been there with you yesterday and will stay with you tomorrow. That is you yourself. You are the best guide who can teach yourself how to define and become a person who can kind of manage uncertainty. So you are the one who's going to help yourself move step ahead, move forward, and look at what worked for you and what you have. Maybe something that has not worked for you can be re-exercised. Something that has worked for you in the past can be taken in as a strength. And most importantly, last but not the least, let ideas flow. Do a self-analysis, dig deeper, find who you really are, and bring the best out of yourself. So shine is what I'm talking about. Uncertainty clearly has really been, 2020 has just been a game changer for us. We stepped in 2020 thinking it's a dual year and everything is going to be all nice. All plans are put to rest because of it. Beginning of 2020, and we've been thrown into complete surprise and uncertainty. Work from home was never a reality for anyone, not in the developed or developing countries. But look at us. Here we are taking classes, taking webinars, including doctors taking their appointments online. See how much we have changed. See how far we've come. World will change from here on. We'll not go back to the normal we were in 2019 and before that. We have moved into an era of absolute uncertainty and trust. I trust in the fact that we're only going to get better than this. Work from home became the new normal, and with it came this unexpected turn of social distancing. For some people, it could be a respite from their very hectic routine, but for a lot others who are looking at their social lives as their way to move in life became a terrifying situation. There are so many of us who stay alone at home. There's so many of us who are staying away from home, and absolutely they were never ready for something of facing self isolation or to speak, spending for the first time in their lives time of their own by themselves. It can be very daunting task for a lot of people. Seeing and reading pandemic has not made it easy. With when we're looking at how it's gaining strength, it moved from one country to another, and within months, literally, it has spread all over the world, affecting millions of lives. It made a vulnerable, it gave moments of vulnerability and absolutely feeling of despair when the lockdown was there, especially, we are trying to hold on to kitchen stuff, or to wondering where our loved ones are, or to wonder that if today is the last day, what will you do tomorrow? That bit of despair we all have gone through. So we are one in this feeling where all of us have gone through these vulnerable moments. But then again, as a psychologist, I ask, has everything been lost? Can we rise above these unhappy, worrying, and uncertain times? And can we make them our new opportunity? 2020 made everyone realize we had a lot of ability that was just kept aside because something more important was taking away the attention. We were lost in social media, we were lost in a lot of information gathering, and there were never any time that you spent with yourselves alone. At least I would like to generalize that for myself. And I hope that everyone can see, at least from my example, how much or how less we were spending time with ourselves and how much we were giving attention to other things which at this moment weren't even important. Life with so much uncertainty is definitely hard. Human beings, of course, crave for information about the future. In the same way we crave for basic needs and rewards, we are as curious, as keen to know what's happening in the future. Everybody wants to know what's happening in 2021. Earlier, the dynamics was everybody wanted to know when the vaccine is coming, and now that the vaccine is already here, or hopefully would be here in some few months, we are now wondering of what would the repercussions be, and when we can have everything being opened up and look forward to things. So in essence, human beings crave for information about the future. We barely, all of us barely, manage some lesson learnings from the past. We, most of us, don't live in the present because we are so keen to move forward, and our brains basically perceive anything which is a threat, which is an ambiguity or something that is uncertain. अगर मुझे इस चीज के बारे में नहीं पता तो वो मेरा threat बन जाता है. Moving to a new country, being in a new relationship, moving into technology, which has been our greatest strength of 2020, it feels like a threat. I mean, I'll give you an example. When MS Teams or Zoom was introduced to us because we had to take our classes, I felt at loss of how I'm going to manage, to the extent that I felt doubtful of myself as a teacher, of how will I be able to give my students the best I did, like I was doing in classes. But I can tell you something, this threat or this feeling of uncertainty made opened my channels of understanding how we could take things forward. Today, I am good at, not the best clearly, but good at MS Teams. I feel actually I'm doing a lot more on MS Teams with my classes, or with my with people I see for counseling. I'm doing far better than what I was doing with them when I was with them in person. It's unfortunately a problem with all of us because we are wired in a manner where anything that is new, that we are not known of, looks like a threat. And naturally, your mechanisms would want to protect it by diminishing any ability. We don't focus on anything than creatively, and we would want to go as far as possible away from it because it is a threat and it may make us look small and insignificant. Research shows that job uncertainty, for example, something all of us have faced in 2020, more so in 2020, Research shows that job uncertainty, for example, tends to take a significant more toll on our health than actually losing a job. And there's a research statistics to say that people worry about losing job more than when they have actually lost it. So it's also a lot of worrisome behavior that reduces our capacity to deal with uncertainty. It is no surprise, obviously, that there are many industries which are devoted to filling the blanks of our future. I could state astrology, future tellers, faith healers, prestige management consultancies dedicated to strategic planning. They help you fill in the blanks of the future while you are absolutely unaware how much responsible you are of your own future. So, with my small attempt today, I'll try to give you a peek of what deep into what you can do to peak up your performance of managing uncertainty. And an improbable situation like the pandemic, which has massively disrupted our routines and destroyed our best laid plans, our vacations, our holidays, our 5 year plan goals, it has just brought us to learn to live in ambiguity. I don't know where 2020 is taking me, but I know where I want to take myself beyond 2020. So, with that goal in mind, we are talking about how we move forward. If we help each other, and this session is something where I think I can also help myself as well as people who are a part of this webinar. We can help each other with short time pressures which tend to grow a lot. If I can look at my short term goals, I can definitely look into how I look at my long term goals. Long term goals, of course, is something which is ambiguous. Post 2020, I feel it's so tough to make anything which can go beyond 1 year. But short term pressures can be handled. Something as unexpected, when I see something like as unexpected as a tweet that can make markets move, or a misstep by a leader can lead to catastrophic effects on an entire country, I wonder where my long term goal will actually take me. Daily headlines, which I've actually stopped reading, can bring a range of a lot of new developments that seem to require response. It could be tweeting it on Twitter, it could be on social media, the media hate. All of this literally impacts how we look at uncertainty, which is beyond 2020. We need to act decisively as these shifts occur, but we need to do so in a way that the short term moment bolsters our long term goals. Today's session would try my attempt, a very humble attempt, would help you look into your short term moments and kind of help what you can do today to kind of bolster your long term goals for tomorrow. However, of course, long term goals is but just a dream from 2020 onwards. So keep calm, because I don't know. This is something, these three simple words can be terrifying, literally terrifying. As a student, I have been so scared um, to accept I didn't know. As a parent, I have had such a tough time to accept I don't know. As a teacher, at times I fall, with that whole bit of unease when I tell my students I don't know. These three simple words of I don't know can, conjure up helpless feelings. And it's something like, for an example, these are that conjuring feeling you get when a teacher calls your name when you're idly daydreaming. At least some of the students in my webinar can be very can relate to this feeling, because of course we all daydream, so it's all right. But when you are spot, when you are highlighted and the spot is on you to to take an action, to speak up, to make sense. At times, I don't know can be the most shameful answer possible. I've been there, I totally understand. For many, not having the answer can be very, very shameful when you're daydreaming, or you when actually don't know. It means that you are not paying enough attention. Worst of all, it may mean as though we are incapable of learning and getting it right. In human essence, it can be absolutely shameful that I don't know. But in truth, uncertainty is clearly an opportunity. These three simple words, I don't know, can actually be a call of action. It can actually be a new way to learn things. It can actually be a new way of taking your life forward. They are the beginning of a vital exercise in curiosity. So, to speak as a person before I speak as a counselor, when I say I don't know, I accept I don't know what to do. So I'm actually accepting myself before others make a judgment. I'm okay to not be fallen off that judgment that people give me. But at the same time, I'm curious to know, what do I do of this I don't know? I don't know is not a full stop. It's just a comma to move forward. How? All right. That's how we learn it. So before I move on to what we can do about it, there's a cute, very interesting quotation on uncertainty, which says that if you ever think you've created a controllable, predictable life for yourself, like the way I am, I'm a complete control freak, you can rest be assured that it's an illusion. What a heartbreak. Nothing stays the same forever. People who are in the dumps today won't stay there forever. People who feel they've got their life all set and sorted won't be there forever. The beauty of life is it's the constant being the only change. It doesn't stay the same forever. What stays the same is you as a person and how you want to move forward. So for those who feel the life is not going anywhere, and for those who feel life is absolutely set and perfect, yeah, let's do something. So what do we do to move from uncertainty and how to move ahead? So step ahead and move forward. First thing first, replace expectations with plans. We make very long drawn plans of what I want to be and what I want to do. 2020 just reduced all those plans, uh, all those expectations, and it was a bummer for so many people who wanted to go abroad, who wanted to do things. There were people who were trying to bring a planned change, and how things turned out for us. So when you form expectations, you're setting up yourselves for disappointment. So it's not only about 2020 that I'm talking of today. I'm talking of how we can move ahead, how we can change a little bit perspective of seeing uncertainty, which is going to be there. It was not that it was not there before, but yes, I think the way the world halted is when you notice that yeah, nothing stays forever. So when you form expectations, you're actually setting yourself for disappointment. You can guide your tomorrow, but you can't control the exact outcome. All students give their board exams, all entrances across the globe. You cannot control what the outcome be. You are looking at a 90%, you're not sure if the exact outcome would be the same. And if we are so sure of the outcome, there's a disappointment. I do not say do not put in the effort and the expectation. I say if you expect the worst, you'll probably feel too negative and close minded. If you expect the best, you create a vision that's hard to live up to. I say instead of expecting the future to give you something specific, focus on what you do today to create what you want to experience tomorrow. I repeat, instead of expecting the future to give you something specific, focus on what you'll do today to create what you want to experience tomorrow. So I would be more than happy if you have a pen and paper in your hand, and post my session, we could discuss it in the question answer round. Can you tell me what is it that you want to experience? What is it in your mind? It could be any emotion. It could be happy, it could be content, it could be calm. Anything that you feel. And happy is a very big feeling. So, maybe you could put it in a sentence completion and it just kind of helps out for you. I want to experience good health. I want to experience happiness in my relationships. I want to be content in the job that I'm doing. I want to be comfortable with the friends that I have. I want to feel secure in the financial capacity I have. So instead of expecting the future to give you something in specific, I want a good life is absolutely specific. Please focus on what you want to do tomorrow and how you want to create it. So if I give you an example here, I want to be healthy. So I'm going to create a diet around myself and actually make sure I exercise every day. Make it make it absolutely zero down on what you want to experience. So I want to experience more calmness in my job. So today I create time management in a manner that I cut off from work when I want to, not because I have to. Bring in your want, see what you can do. There are always ways, mini micro ways of handling your own created desires and experiences. So point number one that I take away from here is, what is it that you want to experience tomorrow and how will you create that experience? That's one. Replace expectations with plans. Plan two is bang head here. No, no, of course, I'm not asking you to reduce stress reduction by banging your head on your right on this beautiful circle, which means that put it on a firm surface, follow direction by banging, banging, banging your head. If you feel unconscious, no, no, that's not my way. It's just a little bit of humor I wanted to bring in. But life at times brings in a lot of stress. Are we ready to handle that stress? The stress reduction needn't be the head banging here. It could be very disrupted life pattern. It could be absolute clear cut hate on social media because of the stress. It could be financial worries. It could be procrastination. It could be worrisome, quarrelsome behavior at home and with people you love. It's letting go of what's important than what is not important, and the like. The narcissism, the stress, the lack of sleep, everything literally is what works through when, because of uncertainty and how we keep bringing in that stress in our lives. But what do I do about it? Get confident about your coping and adapting skills. All of us at some point or the other have poor coping and adapting skills. It is so difficult to adapt to the new you that we keep sulking, we keep procrastinating, we keep ourselves in that negative spot of I am not going to move and I'm going to whine like a baby. It's okay if you do that, but do you want to stay there? If you don't want to stay there, what do you want to do? Something of famous psychologists say this isn't the same as expect the worst. No, it's more about assuring yourself that you can handle any difficulty that might come. I speak for myself again because it's so much easier to generalize it on myself. Before 2020, whatever I'm doing in this entire year, starting from March, when the lockdown started till up till now, I had no clue I could do all of this. How did I do it? I, of course, like the rest of all of us, I did my whining, I did my procrastination, I kept complaining and complaining and complaining, and I just kept feeling miserable about myself. This is something which was going to stay. I knew it. There were enough trainings happening. I wouldn't pay attention because I didn't want to change. I didn't want to move out of my comfort zone. But then one day something changed. I had to adapt to this new. And I realized the minute I stopped complaining and I started adapting, and I got to see my students back again, it felt so good. Why am I using this example here is to tell you it is so important to assure yourself it's going to be okay, give something new a try, and use your coping skills. If you don't have, please bring in new coping skills so that you become a little more evolved person. I would like to quote Julie K. Norum from her very popular book called The Positive Power of Negative Thinking. She says that there's a concept called defensive pessimism. We all have been pessimistic, we all use it everywhere, literally everywhere. But she says that simple thought can be picked, highlighted, and used when you consider the worst. So you can put a plan of how you can handle it. The beauty of negative thinking is it is far more concrete than the positive. Negative thinking, gossiping, hatred is so concrete that some scientists and psychologists say that you can actually use it to your advantage and make a coping skill out of it. So here, for those of you who are actually writing as a suggestion, think of what is the worst that could happen to you and how you plan to handle it. Trust me, before I put all of them on my PowerPoint, I've done this myself and I felt so good. It actually made me see a couple of things I was just complaining for no reason, and the solution was already in progress. This has shown to help people manage anxiety. For those of you who get into a lot of anxious state, that free floating anxiety for no reason, try doing this. What is the worst that can happen? Part one, what do you do? What do you plan to do to handle it? Part two. So ask yourself, what is it that the worst can happen and how do I plan to handle it? And even of the fact that you can jot down two small bullet points to it, trust me, today you will be a little different person. I did that last evening and I felt so much better. So yeah, let's not bang heads here. Let's work on what can I do to the worst situation that can happen in my life. So point number two, get confident about your coping and adapting skills. Please move forward. Step number three, focus on what you can control. As a counseling psychologist, I constantly tell my students, I constantly tell my clients, I tell myself, of course, we overlook little things we can control to make our life easier while obsessing about things we can't do towards the government, towards the farmer protest, towards the environment, climate change, towards pandemic, towards, China, Russia, people, families, friends, media, everything. Those are the things I can't control personally. I, as my own being, Megha, cannot control. And because I can't control something which is out of my purview, I obsess about them, I crib about them, I worry so much about them that I feel stressed and absolutely indecisive about my life. Please change the focus. Overlook because we overlook the little things. Please overlook the big things that you can't control. You can't control how people drive on the road. You can control what you can do. When I say you can do, it could be how you eat, how you sleep, how you talk to people, how you generalize your statements, how you tell yourself. What conversations are you making with yourself and others is what you control. So think of the things that you generalize, say without even giving it a second thought, and stop and think what you can control. Trust me, when you make a list of what I can control and what I cannot control, earlier of initially, clearly in the beginning there would be a problem where you wouldn't know what I can control. Anything that is related to your doing on your own. आप कैसे खाना खाते हैं, आप कैसे कपड़े पहनते हैं, आपका कंडक्ट कैसा है दूसरों के साथ, आप दूसरों से कैसे बात करते हैं, दूसरों की बातों को आप कितना जज करते हैं. What anything that is around you can control. You cannot control climate change. You can make an effort to reduce it. So please look at what you can control, make a listing of it. It's amazing to know what you can control, and the control is only you, not people and things around outside your control. Fourth is practice mindfulness. People talk about it day in and out. Your Sunday and Saturday magazines, your social media is full about how you can practice stillness. A little, I need to make a bit of a. I myself, I'm not very good at mindfulness because I'm always eager to control a lot of things. About 2 weeks prior to this webinar, I started to do something. I started following someone on social media, and it's all about staying still for 5 minutes, which were very tough, mind you. It was nice, to know there were so many people still and only focusing on that breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. There is no rocket science. It is not something for the yogis to do. It is so easy. And I actually first, of course, could only hear my heartbeat. And then I noticed something, I don't know at what time it was, when I actually noticed I could control my breathing, because my breathing made me a little uncomfortable because that's the only thing I could hear. After a while, I realized that my breathing actually became a little more at calm. And when I woke up, I was a little lightheaded, but I don't know why. I felt good. So this is why I brought it here. When we obsess about a tomorrow we can't control, we are busy judging what hasn't happened yet. I'm so furious of what hasn't happened with me today because I'm obsessing about what will happen tomorrow. I'm not experiencing the here and now or the idea of being in the moment right now. I'm not going to get this day again. Am I ready to let go of this day, only worrying about what's coming tomorrow when I haven't even seen it? Pay attention. Don't obsess about tomorrow when we can't control it. Instead, we can experience what's happening right now to my relationship, to my body, to my health, to my experience, and to my peace of mind. Instead, we get trapped in a fear driven thought cycle about the potential of discomfort down the line. I'm only worrying about how many people are going to be killed with this COVID-19, that I'm actually not even paying attention of how many people, including myself, have been healthy, have been active, and have been successfully been able to be off COVID and and not attached to that stigma. And here we are talking about it when I hope none of us have been, have experienced COVID, because the ones who have had a real bad time. So our being trapped into that fear-driven thought cycle can be potentially harmful for our peace of mind. So obsessing about tomorrow will not help. What can help right now is, while meditation, of course, is the best way to be mindful, I know it could be boring to some, doing other things like reading, writing, drawing, connecting with friends on a chat can actually also bring that stillness. This line was added this morning because I realized if I talk about mindfulness to all of you, maybe you may not like the suggestion. But of course, if you're writing, if you're spending time with yourself, where there is no phone, there is no distraction, you can hear your thoughts. That is stillness, that is practicing mindfulness. So try it today, if not tomorrow, because I'm talking about being in here and now. Don't lose this today, it's clearly not coming tomorrow. Next could be investment in yourself. So I could probably just take anyone in the crowd right now. Ramya ma'am, can I speak to you? Or Shreya
Yes,
ma'am?
ma'am.
So ma'am, in this year, how have you invested in yourself? What have
I
you done which has been an investment?
I think the biggest investment, according to me, is the quality time that I spent with my family.
All right.
Yes,
And
that's what I think. That's the biggest investment on from my end, because during these times of uncertainties, nobody had expected that it would get so prolonged that we would be restricted to our homes for so many months together. So that ways I feel yes.
all right, that's amazing. Anyone else who would want to tell me, if you can
Yes.
unmute yourself? How
Yes,
did
I
you?
think Anil Goswami sir needs to kind of convey
Anil,
something. Sir,
Anil sir, would you like to tell
Anil sir,
us?
sir, Anil sir, you wanted to add something.
So what we could do is, ma'am, we could take his we could take his thoughts, and we could
Okay,
probably
no,
after
no,
the.
no. I think, sir, I have unmuted you. Can you please check once?
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Very good afternoon. Brilliant, brilliant presentation by
Thank you.
Megha.
Thank you,
Well
sir.
done. Well done. You look like a celebrity, presenting.
Oh, that's a compliment, sir. You made my day very happy. Thank you. Thank you. So how do you invest in yourself, sir?
Building of the resilience in this time that we have to learn from army people. We talked about isolation. Most of these people, they remain in isolation for longer
Right.
time
Right,
away
sir.
from their families, and there are a lot of lessons if we can learn from those people. And the
Right, sir.
second thing, now the life has changed. Earlier we were doing all transactional type of jobs. Now it has totally changed to transformational. We have to
Right, sir.
tell all the students, you have to get prepared everything for a change. As you told, change is constant. you know
Right.
you have to, you cannot now expect exe. You have to accept the things.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Don't expect, you accept the things. Have change in your mindset. Earlier definitely we had a protected economy. Now things are moving so fast. Now we are going toward globally, and we don't know next 5 years what is going to happen. All our technology, all our knowledge, if we don't update ourselves, we will going to become, I am sure, after 5 years totally redundant. So there will be no job for us, because the automation is going so fast.
Right, sir.
Sensors and AI technology is coming up. So if we don't, we have to cope up and learn all those things. If we learn all these things, I cannot say this pandemic, I am feeling bored. It is in my hand. I have to organize my time, and I have to learn a lot of things. You see, my age, Mega, is plus 70. I am plus 70 now. I have already completed 2 innings, one in government and other in private sector, one of the US company. I was in Haryana government, you see.
Okay, sir.
And now I am entered into third inning. Now my niche is so to help young boys and girls in helping their career and their family
Okay.
life. I
Okay.
talk to these people, and I learn a lot of things from brilliant people like you.
Thank you,
So
sir. Thank you so
so
much.
uh, God bless you.
Thank you.
So these are all things. Earlier we were following waterfall model. Now agility is there. So you rightly said, everybody, unless we have goals, vision, and mission, So we are landing nowhere, directionless we are going in our life.
Right.
And every morning, please, as you told, we must remember some affirmation. Affirmation not by speaking, just we feel it. So
Right.
this is the best time for me. I am a healthy person. We feel. We don't speak only. We just feel it inside. From inside outside we come on, and
Right.
we prioritize the thing our time. So where is the time to feel bore or isolation? Let us prioritize the thing and learn to organize our thing and achieve, atomic things slowly and slowly. And there are a lot of principles people can learn from you.
Thank you,
So
sir.
those things. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity and time. God bless you.
Thank you,
God
sir.
bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you.
And
So,
just a small addition to it, like we're talking about investment, and your session is totally based on uncertainty. So that ways, I feel that the new normal that we're entering into, which is completely like a virtual world, operating everything through like on virtual mode, and then work from home culture is also
yes,
like a new thing which we had
absolutely. It's a
never
new.
thought about. And as you rightly mentioned, when it was about when it was about taking classes on Zoom or maybe MS Teams was something which was like a big question. How do we do it? But now with time, I think
Look
we're
at
all
us.
kind of,
We are so
yes,
techno savvy.
we've become techno savvy and
We
we
become so
we
techno
have started
savvy.
adjusting, yes, to the new normal that way. So
So to
yeah,
to my participants, the best resource you have right now, which can be contributing to the world needs us. So we need you. We
absolutely.
need you to contribute. When that resource is depleted, when we refuse to eat on time, when we refuse to look into the mental health, when we actually refuse to see what we tell ourselves, being a mother of two young children, at times I see myself giving them some messages which could be not right. So I tell myself, where do I get these messages of do this because I told you so? We damage our own selves by the kind of things we tell ourselves. The world needs me to be calm to have a calm tomorrow. If I'm not calm, I pass on that bit of uncertainty in my children, and it's like a domino effect. That resource, when gets depleted, is the most damaged. We don't need damaged assets. We need well protected, wholesome, loving, and self accepted assets, which is you yourself. We need to sustain the relationships that bring us connection and meaning. If you feel in 2 years you harbor an ill will, you harbor a bit of a regret with something that has gone off, and you want to connect, please, today is the time. The fact that it hasn't left, may have left your need that calmness. If you feel that relationship did not work, it could be friends, it could be anything. Speak up, clear your mind, try talking in a manner which is peaceful so that you can make peace with things. We must get enough sleep and rest when we are tired. No social media and Netflix and streamings is not the answer of killing time. Maybe doing something with yourself is. We need to spend time having fun and playing. When was the last time you did actually something that was fun? No, it's not about watching something online. It is something with yourself which did not require a stimulus, just for the joy of it. Did you do a baking, irrespective how it came out to be? Did you actually spend time with yourself walking? Obviously, no. Did you do it? Did you give it a try? Self care is not being selfish. As a psychologist, I would speak first. It's not being selfish, it's personal growth. And who else than Dr. Ramya herself can tell you personal growth is not being selfish, it's self growth. I'll move a little quickly, ma'am, so I can take in questions. I very highly support comfort uh, zones, but I also talk about healthy comfort items. We all walk from the comfort zone. One, first understand where the comfort zone is. When we feel uncertain or insecure, our brain tries to rescue us by activating the dopamine systems. I teach neurology, so this has to be a part of it. Neurology, dopamine, which is of course a neurotransmitter, is all about well-being, feel-good factor, and it makes us look at rewards. It'll make me seek rewards, which is rewarding, which has been rewarding in the past, is today and becomes tomorrow. And because of that reward encashment, I keep going into my temptations. Suddenly, I keep doing all those things which were temptations, and I keep falling back into them. Like something like more screen time instead of sleeping, or binging on a chocolate than having a fruit. It's that addiction, that reward that makes me go back to my comfort zone. But today, while we're doing other things, and like I requested you, the third work I would leave you with is, can you make a list of healthy ways of how you want to comfort yourself? Can you mask up and go, an example could be, can you mask up, be well protected and go for a walk or a hike with a neighbor? Can you schedule a call with a friend you haven't spoken to in the last years? Can you get rid of that argument which never left your mind and keeps daunting you, troubling you at the, back of your mind? Can you do that today? Reflect on what you're grateful for. Can you think? You don't have to put everything on paper. Can you mentally think of 3 things that you're grateful for today? Can you let yourself take a little nap? Can you please stop avoiding putting away your sleep, procrastinating your assignments? Look, I'm a teacher. I'll always talk about assignments. Can we please stop procrastinating, doing something which makes me feel happy? Those things may seem small to some people, it may seem luxurious, but they enable us to be the people we want to be. Can you do something today? Can you find something healthy and make that your comfort zone? And of course, this unicorn looks very cute. Last but not the least, can you pay attention? Can you pay attention to what is today? The opposite of uncertainty is not certainty. Please, it's the presence. Instead of imagining a scary and unknown future, can we bring attention to our breath? From there, can we check in with ourselves? How many times have you, we check on everyone. We check on our friends, our neighbors, our family. When was the last time you checked in with yourself? Every time we wash our hands, for example, of course, because now washing has become so common, can we ask ourselves how we're doing right now? Okay, I've got a pimple. Is there something that's bothering me? Of course, my hair is not looking fine. What's going on? Where is the stress? What is bothering you today? Notice what emotions you're feeling when you talk to yourself. No, it's not silly. It is checking in yourself. It is self-care. It is not selfish or foolish. Notice what emotions you're feeling. Where in your body are you feeling those emotions? For some of us, including myself, when we break into pimples because of some stress or some bit of mismanagement, do you tell yourself I'm looking ugly? And that bit what you tell yourself is what keeps on and on, even if the fact the pimple goes away. Talk to yourself, notice what emotions you're feeling, notice where in the body you're feeling. When it feels like everything is out of control, we can still control to something I can pay attention to, starting from your breath, then down to your intra counseling, which is your own psychic counseling. How do you talk to yourself? मैं अपने आप से कैसे बात करता हूँ? मैं अपने आप को क्या instructions देता हूँ? मैं अपने आप को क्या feedback देता हूँ? That is all emotional. Please start paying attention to at least one thing and see where and how you can control it. We can turn off our alerts to keep the news or social media from hijacking. Try detoxing yourself. Don't have to read everything that's coming in newspaper and react to it, and talk to your parents and talk to your friends for a day. If you can be off social media, as much as you'll be addicted to go back to it, and you'll have a feeling of relapse, but it's pretty nice when you're only in your awareness. The world will not go anywhere if for one day you don't check on things which are happening outside you. Basically, it's what it's doing is it's culminating calm, open-mindedness, and most importantly, from your own end, non-reactivity. World needs people to stop reacting right now. World needs you to not be reactive at the moment. Last but not the least, please stop looking for someone to rescue it. No, we don't live in fairy tale worlds. We don't have to act powerless. We don't have to be trapped in the narratives. मेरे साथ क्या हो रहा है, मैं क्या करूं, ये मेरे साथ ही होना है. That leaves us very angry. That leaves us very helpless. That leaves us very trapped. I'm telling myself I'm not responsible for my life when I tell myself this only happens with me. And we start hoping people will save us from our misery. There's something very interesting. Although it can feel good when others dote on us, they try to rescue us. In reality, most rescuers don't really help. Rescuers tend to give us the permission to avoid us from taking our responsibility, that is our own lives, because they want to be the hero in their own lives. They will not let you help yourself. You need support. You do not need rescue. Please see the difference. You don't need rescue operations. You need support. Emotional support sees us as capable and solving our own problems. Another question that you can note down for yourself: emotional support will ask you what you want. A rescuer will ask you what you don't want. Why focus on something that you don't want? Positive psychology says focus on something that you want and it'll come, rather than focusing on something that you don't want. And by the way, that will also come. So focus on something that you want than what you don't want. Keep that as a question for discussion, or for your own assessment. When the world feels scary or uncertain, knowing what meaning we have for others and feeling a sense of purpose can ground us to manage ourselves. I only have one life to live. I don't think I'm coming back. So don't just wait for this ordeal to be over. Don't be resigned with your misery, waiting for a vaccine. Please ask yourself, what what is it that you always wanted to do? What outcome are you hoping for? How can you make a real life in this? And go ahead and live that life. So if I spoke a little fast, I'll repeat again. What did you always wanted to do? आप क्या करना चाहते थे? उसका क्या आउटकम आप देखना चाहते थे? How do you think वो जो आपका एक विजन है, उसको आप एक रियल लाइफ में कैसे एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे? And when do you think you want to actually live that life? It is very simple. You don't need a psychologist. You only need to ask yourself these questions. And taking you back again, when you are asking yourself these questions, do not act powerless. Do not act like your best friend has to help you out, or a guide has to help you out. There's no harm or fault in seeking help. First, ask yourself, can I handle it? And then move on. When we take responsibility of our lives, we trade the false power of victimhood, main bichara, that victimhood, of the real power that comes from the creating the life I want to create. When we see something that needs improvement, our next step is to recognize कि मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ as a solution where the improvement can be done. What skills and talents or even interests can I bring in, and then start acting on it. So I would finish my session here by saying, today I'm focusing on my possibilities, not my fear, and suddenly I feel a lot better. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time and for the patience to be looking at a PowerPoint slide. And I'm happy to take questions if anyone would have. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Megha. Thank you for enlightening us with so much of information and so much of knowledge. And apart from that, it was a very, very relatable topic that ways to which each of us could relate to, because you spoke on uncertainty, and all of us are just going through that process. So I think that was very much relatable also. So I would like to thank you on behalf of all the participants. And
thank you, Ramya ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
And
so
just
nice
one point I wanted to add also, the last PPT, the last point that you just now mentioned, right? So I read this book, The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, right? Which
that's
talks
amazing.
about, yes, it's an amazing book. So that also talks about the power of positive thinking, the law of attraction. So if you attract positive things, good things, so they keep happening to you, right? So the power of creative thinking, creative visualization, that happens through a process.
So, there is something there's something very strong about what you think, and you pay attention to, something that you keep thinking about, it will come true. You're making sure it will come true. So it could be an accident. It could be, accidentally finding money. If you're looking for growth and you're looking, so what you think actually comes true.
Exactly. What your mind keeps thinking, if you attract a lot of stressors and a lot of anxieties, and that, then the thing is that you start experiencing those stressors all through. So instead of experiencing those negative things, I think it's more important for us to concentrate on the positive things and the positive assets that we have around ourselves, to have a positive mindset. So thank you, Megha ma'am. And yes, Anil Goswami sir has some addition to make from here. And I would request the other participants also, if you have any questions, you may just send your questions in the chat box and we'll take these questions one by one.
Ma'am, Afreen has a doubt, if we could just take her.
Sure, I'll unmute.
Afreen Qureshi.
Yeah, just a second. I don't, okay.
Afreen, you could put it in the chat, and Ramya ma'am could take it from there.
Afreen, can you send your question in the chat box? Is that okay?
So can I come?
Sure, sir. Yes, sir.
You see, once again, wow to Megha. Wow,
Thank you, sir.
wow.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Great
sir.
session. Great
Thank
session. You know, rightly said, power of visualization and power of positive thinking.
Very true.
Only these days we are concerned. We like negative thinking also in one area. That is when the corona result come, we think it should come negative only.
Yes,
When COVID
that's true.
come, when COVID come, everybody is thinking it should come negative, negative, negative.
How
You
true.
see, the second thing I want to add, everybody should have buddy, mentor, and coach, and it is a lifelong exercise. You
Well
know,
said.
and we must understand the role of all. And some other day we can talk. So,
Absolutely.
what is the role of buddy? What is the role of mentor? And what is the role of a coach? And which you already know. One teacher took the student in a kitchen and he put, three containers full of water. In one container he put potatoes, in one other container he put eggs, and in third container he put coffee seeds. And after 10 to 15 minutes, when it started boiling, so he asked the student, so you take out the potato. He said, why you want to say? He said, please take out. So when he touched the potato, from hard it became to very, very soft. And when the other student, he took the egg, so it became from soft to very hard. And when he took this coffee, when he put the coffee in a cup, the whole environment, it started uh, ge- great fragrant, it started coming. So this is our life. So everybody, it passes through the same environment, COVID, and some people are potatoes, some people are eggs, and some are coffee, and some people change like this. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
again
sir.
giving me opportunity. God
Thank you,
bless you.
sir. Thank you so much. Ramya, ma'am,
Thank
would
you.
there be any questions that
Thank
you
you.
would like to
Thank you.
ask?
Yes.
Ma'am, unmute. Can I? Am I audible?
Yes, Afreen, go
Yes.
ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
You're audible.
Good,
Yes.
good afternoon, ma'am.
Ram.
Actually, this 2020 is pretty productive for me, but my only concern is to get up in the morning at 6 because my sleeping pattern is at 1, and I want to be a morning person, get up at 6, but I'm getting up at 8 every day. But I'm not happy about it.
So, Afreen, frankly speaking, if you're getting up at 1 o'clock, your body needs rest. I mean, 8 hours is quintessentially the body's right. You cannot be, and I kudos to your, commitment to sleep at 1 when you know from 9:30 onwards till about afternoon, you're only busy with classes. So, there's a lot of work that your body's doing. What would you want to do about it? Than me giving
I
you
want to sleep early, get up early in the morning. It was like 4:35, but that is something unrealistic. That's why I'm saying 6, because if I get up in the morning at 6, now I have to feel very good earlier. Now also I'm feeling good after getting up at 8, but I want to feel more good. I want to feel like,
So
better.
if you want to feel better about getting up at 6 o'clock, what do you think you would want to do about it? How would you
Sleep
want to feel?
early
And how would you sleep early?
too. That's difficult because I don't
Look at
because
us. We are teaching from home. How difficult would it be? You are learning from home. We are teaching from home. Uh, the businesses are running from home. How tough would it be, Afri?
it is difficult.
Try break it out into something smaller. Try looking at your own so this recording would be live on YouTube, and because you're my student you can always get in touch with me, but go back and look at my presentation, pick up those questions I asked you to. It's not rocket science. It is something where you do your own assessment and evaluation. Life is not tough, we make it tough. It's not difficult.
Yes, ma'am. I'll
Thank
do that.
thank you so much. Ramya ma'am.
Okay, any other question? So in the meantime, Megha ma'am, I have a few questions.
Go ahead,
So
ma'am.
yeah. So you spoke a lot on uncertainty, right? So what I'm a little inquisitive to know, is uncertainty different from confusion? Because at times what happens is we're in a state of dilemma or maybe some confusion. So do you see any difference between the two? And if yes, how is it different?
I feel confusion is normal. I am not I'm clearly not a devil's advocate where I say कि confusion नहीं होनी चाहिए. I totally agree that if I have positive emotions and I have healthy emotions, I have some negative emotions. I don't know why we still call them, but okay. Uh, it's okay to be confused. How am I so ready for the world that I understand all changes? Confusion is normal. It is supposed to be there because you're trying to absorb new information while looking at a previous information. It's all
Okay.
right.
Okay.
However, uncertainty is that constant feeling of confusion.
Okay.
Confusion is all right. It can be calmed down. It can be taken care of when I'm able to speak to myself and understand where the confusion is. However, if I choose to stay in confusion for too long, I'm clearly in a state of uncertainty where anything that happens to me tomorrow, I look at it with a negative affect. That means ये मेरे से नहीं होगा. I'm unable to manage it. According to me, that would be uncertainty. How I manage uncertainty.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. Anil sir has a question. Yes, sir.
No, I want to add, please,
Oh,
Megha.
yes, sir. Please go ahead.
So uncertainty, she rightly said, unpredictable. You cannot predict it, and this is a byproduct. Confusion is a byproduct of that unpredictability. It is the
Right.
output, and that is the input. You cannot predict anything. What is going to happen? Next COVID may come. Who knows? After 1 year, something else may come, and the confusion will be then outcome of that thing. And if you have more resilience, so more mindset, so better prepared. In army, what they say,
Right,
army,
sir.
what they say, those who sweat in peace, they do not sweat in war. जो
Correct.
आदमी शांति में मेहनत करता है, ऑर्गेनाइज करता है, उसको कोई भी तकलीफ आ जाए उस समय वो बड़े ठीक ठाक रहता है. So this is
Right.
what we have to remember. Thank you.
Right,
All
sir.
right.
Great.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So, Rama ma'am, if there are no questions, we could close in the session then.
No, ma'am, I don't think there are any other questions. So, any other question, if any of the participants have, they can just go ahead with the question.
Ma'am, I had a question here.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, Ashi, please.
Ma'am, like when we were attending normal classes at a college, like what happened, like we had class in the morning, we had our presentations, we had our assignments, and we had to give our exams. But what happened, like after the classes in the evening, or maybe sometimes when there were festivals, there were events happening in the college. So that was something which like gave us some motivation. It was like something exciting happening. So like it used to cheer us up. But now that thing is not happening. We are having our classes, everything relating to our studies. But like that factor is not happening at all. So like this thing demotivates, and what should we do to like
So Ashi, my question would be, is it the routine in college that was making you cheerful? Was it the fact that, you were dressing up, you were looking forward to something like friends that was cheering you up? What is it that was cheering you up?
I'm like everything, like dressing up, meeting people, and like enjoying the events happening, participating in the events, like everything. And like we are like not able to attend any of those things now.
So if I could give you some solace in it. All of us are in it. Where dressing up at home, I mean, this is only for webinar that I'm dressed up like this, but dressing up at home has not happened. We all have, this is the problem. You know what was, Ashi? We were not dressing for ourselves. We were not doing things for ourselves, which is okay, which is not supposed to be, counter reacted to. Yes, there is a time where we have to, for our own safety, stay away from people. That is point number one reality. I know there were things we had crafted around ourselves to make ourselves happy. That's the reason why we would incessantly go to the malls, even though the fact they were busy and they were full to the hilt of it. And we were doing all of that. right? During Christmas and New Year's and the likes. Because that was my excitement to be in a crowd, to enjoy, dress up, and be with everybody, collective happiness, like we call it. Today, collectivism at the moment, when we're going through a very turning point in humankind, we need to be away from each other to avoid getting, to avoid getting any sort of infection. This time shall pass as well. It's just the time which has taken too long. But in this whole time, we are waiting for that good time to come about and going back to normal. I hear so many people telling me that, I want to just go back to normal. You
Yes.
think to go back to normal? Still, we will have people covering their faces, which rightfully they should. Still, we will have ideally people staying away from each other than being into each other. There were a lot of dysfunctionalities which have clearly come now, which we weren't paying attention before. Question being, what can you do to cheer yourself up? Is something the question only has answer coming from you, Ashi. What do you think you want to do to cheer yourself up?
Ma'am, I can do something like I can watch something or I can do something for my own self. Like I did something which I never did before. Like I tried on things which I never did before. I started doodling and then I started for the first time in my life, I started having a workout schedule.
And
So that was some,
how did it make you feel?
it made me feel very good. But like the whole thing is about, I'm not able to like that kind of interaction. And like that thing just demotivates.
So
So
is it that you cannot interact at any platform while sitting at home with friends?
like I can interact, but like that kind of interaction just can't happen. Like,
Either I can say let it go, or I can say wait for it to come back. There are the only two ways I can tell you. We can't keep having a benchmark जो हम पहले करते थे वो अब क्यों नहीं हो रहा, because उस time में और आज के time में बहुत variation आ गई. One. Secondly, we can be hopeful that once things are fine and everybody's safe, including myself, we can come back to appreciating a lot more human interaction. Why everybody's feeling miserable, Ashi, is because there's no human interaction. And my first three slides only spoke about the miserability of our human, our species, because we're not interacting. So yeah, either we can let go of the benchmark I had of the future, past, and accept the present, that me and my family are safe because we are away from interaction. It will get better. Let things roll out. And maybe I can do something at my own end. I can spend a little more time with myself. Maybe I spend no time with myself. If this is the only person I have to spend time with, how do I want to spend time with this person called myself? If I answered your question.
that's happening, ma'am. That's continuously happening.
For all of us. For all of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So from here only, ma'am, I just have one last question. So do you think the anxiety levels have changed in 2020, especially since the pandemic has come? Like, because we are discussing.
What I read and see, definitely anxiety levels have increased. And Ramya ma'am, given by whatever we were having panel discussion with psychiatrists yesterday, my
Yes.
God, it just looks like it's not going. The number's not going to go down. Reason stated, we were always anxious, but we didn't have this side of anxiety, which is about everything not being in our control. Per se, we like to have control on things because we feel we're more in control. But when I can't control something which is spreading that I can't even see, what do I do about it? The media clearly has made it a nuisance. What was speculated, what was projected, there's been a lot of difference.
Making us feel more miserable. Yeah.
So I think misinformation and overinformation has really created a lot of anxiety. So yes, post 2020, people have been worrying of letting go. People have been worrying about how will they manage a lonely life, and which was not there before because people weren't spending so much time. Like I was telling Ash, पहले तो हम कभी इतना time अपने साथ spend भी नहीं कर रहे थे.
कभी भी नहीं, and even the lack of social connect because of the fear. Yeah. So that is also somewhere.
Yeah, all of that has become, but it's a phase. Every phase teaches you something. This will teach us something, and it'll take us to the new you, not the old you, the old normal, whatever you call it.
Yes.
So the new normal is coming.
Absolutely. So
I have a question. My name is Preeti Dang, and I'm a special educator.
Yes, ma'am.
It's actually a concern. I'm also a class teacher of grade 6. What I
Okay.
have felt over the time is initially when the online classes started, the children were very excited
Right, ma'am.
on an online platform. I mean, they were happy and they were very excited about the gadgets, and they're going to do it. They're going to see the teacher visually, and all resources will be available online. So they were happy to do because research was one skill which I had taught them,
Right, ma'am.
and they were super excitedly submitting the work.
Right, ma'am.
But over the months, in fact from last 2-3 months, I have seen the attendance have delivered, I mean, it's gone completely down. I mean, in a class of 40 children, 28 are present, 23 are present. So I am just worried and concerned, is the children, have the children started taking it for granted that the teacher sits in front? Whatever happens if we don't even switch on the camera, we don't raise our hand, we don't ask the questions, or their inquisitiveness have gone down, or interest has gone down, or they're just thinking let's take it for granted the whole year is going to bypass like this.
So,
This I
ma'am,
have seen commonly in the normal children and also in the special needs children.
so to
So I'm
answer to your question, I think you're doing something very brave,
hmm,
managing children and trying to find that balance between children who have different abilities. Vis-a-vis, I think
yeah.
it's you're a warrior in my own way. Preeti ma'am, I don't think kids have become laxed. I think it's the parents who become laxed. If parents don't show that kind of a commitment in learning, children will not have it. We are role modeling for our children, ma'am. If a child
Hmm.
would be laxed and the parents are serious about it, they are concerned about the learning, they pay attention to that learning. I don't think a child has it in him or her to take a step where they tend to take off, keep the camera off and everything. Somewhere,
Hmm.
I mean, for school children, of course, I'm handling, college students who have another ball game only to fight for. But
Hmm.
I think with young kids as young as class six, ma'am, it's the parents. Parents need to be told where we are going with this. Because, Preeti ma'am, it's not about today. We will
Hmm.
go back to schools one day. If it's not in
Yeah.
2020, it's in 2022.
Hmm.
What are we
Absolutely.
what are we
Hmm.
telling our children? It's
Hmm.
okay to cheat in an open book exam. It's okay not to respond to a teacher. It's okay not to do homework. कल कर लेंगे. ऐसा पहले नहीं हो रहा था ना.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's the parents,
And
ma'am.
ma'am, even the normal skill like reading,
Yes,
when
yes.
I ask them, my whole idea of taking the remedial sessions 1-to-1 is so that at least those skills, if the ones which we have developed, they should be reinforced, they should not be lost in this
Right,
year.
ma'am.
So
Right, ma'am.
the only point of taking the remedial is 1-to-1 is just because I want them जो basic skills हैं वो हो. And once in a week I always make sure that it should be a Zoom meeting and all the concerns should be addressed for the
Okay.
parents, variation from all the sections. But still I see there isn't any much change. And one more concern which I'm really worried about is that in if the child's this the mic is on, if I'm talking something or discussing something like a story, so the parents just barge in and
I know.
say something which is, I mean, I can't put
I
it across
understand.
how sometimes it becomes so embarrassing that this is the way you call the child, especially if he's a special or she's a
Wow.
special needs child.
Oh, oh my, that can be heartbreaking.
and
Ma'am,
and
my
and and I
suggestion.
don't know how to address those parents. I mean, should I tell them bluntly because I have a limitation? But as a special educator, I think so it becomes my moral duty to tell them this is not the way it should be.
So, ma'am, the problem is with problem. I won't say the eye opener with the online classes is we have literally come to a child's house. I mean,
Yes,
and
absolutely. Yes, the school has come in actually, huh?
yeah, the school has actually come.
True,
So,
true,
so
true.
those barrier, मैम, जो एक watertight compartment था कि मैं school जा रहा हूँ और मैं घर जा रहा हूँ,
Yes,
वो हट गया,
yes.
मैम. Preeti ma'am, but
Hmm.
the problem is than addressing the child, it's addressing the parents. Can you find a
Yes.
way to address the parents? It's not easy
Ma'am,
for you.
the whole year, see, honestly telling you, this whole year has been a drastic for me. I mean, health wise, and some family that I've lost some of my family members. That was extremely bad for me. But still, I'm coping up, though, every person is a fighter from some or the other side. But
Right.
now I'm coping up in my classes because I've lost a lot of curriculum facts also. I'm taking extra classes, jitna mera health allow karta hai.
Okay,
But the
ma'am.
thing is, ki 4 times I've already tried till September, everything was okay. I tried 4 times, making them at least 10 times on a Zoom platform, making those, interactive with the parents. But I don't find anything, but still I'll keep on trying.
But that's
On my
very brave
personal level,
very brave of you, ma'am.
I'll try doing it. And I've got the supports of my school and staff. That's very nice. But still I'll keep trying. If, to getting into their levels, मुझे तो लगता है मैम कई बार that special need type के कुछ parents ऐसे हैं जिन्होंने आज तक accept ही नहीं किया कि उनके
Yes.
बच्चों को disability है, which is very sad. I really feel bad and heart comes out of it देखने के लिए कि उन्हीं का ही तो बच्चा है. मेरी तो फिर भी limitation है because now I'm an outsider. I mean, I cannot physically meet and console that child. She's the most, the parents are the ones who are the most nearest to them. Or
So,
they
ma'am,
feel
for
bad
the-
if I tell them their duty.
So for the audience, and because I'm a colleague in the same profession, ma'am.
Exactly. This is the reason I'm putting my concern.
So I have had experience being in a school and telling them that on record, clinical record, the child has had ADHD and the
Yeah.
child needs to be off sugar and salt because clinically it's been proven that
Yes,
we cannot have so much of sugar and
हाँ,
salt.
हाँ,
And these are
absolutely.
parents who storm out of my room, go to the canteen and give the
Yeah.
child 2 packets of biscuit and 1 Coke. Ki, don't feel bad, what she said. You have this and enjoy. So what do you say, ma'am? I mean, you being an expert in your field, me being a
Yeah.
learner in mine, there is a lot of stigma, ma'am. It'll take
Yeah.
time. It'll take time. But you're doing very
Anyway,
well, ma'am. You're doing
thank
very
you so
well.
much.
Kudos to
Thank
your
you
effort.
so much. I'll continue the way, since you've already enlightened me for this. I'll continue the way I was doing it with the parents, so that I think so they need
doing-
more counseling.
You're doing very well, ma'am. You're doing
Thank
very
you so
well.
much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone. I'm sorry I've taken 20 more minutes of the time. Thank you so much. And I hope to have more interactive sessions. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Megha ma'am, for such a comprehensive and lucid presentation. It was a great learning, and I'm sure all the participants must have learned a lot. And more than learning, I think it'll give them an idea of how to combat the current situation of uncertainty and the coping skills, how to improve upon the existing coping skills and how to learn the newer ones. So thank you once again. And I
Thank you
would
so
also,
much.
yeah, and I would also like to thank all the faculties, dear students and guests for joining in for the session. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Good day. Thank you.
Good day to all of you. All right. Thank you.